Hey guys, I'm on Instagram and Facebook, and I'm on my laptop on Facebook and cell phone and Instagram. So that was why that maybe lagged a little bit for one or the other of you. I tried to hit play at the exact right time. Okay, because at UPW I decided I was going to turn my light brighter and post on more of the different platforms because that was one of the ways that I found out that I was dulling my shine again because I do that sometimes. And it's just like new layers of my experience where I'm like, okay, shine brighter. So that was the explanation of why one or both of you guys didn't get the beginning. Hey. um, so I really wanted to talk about Brené Brown's special on Netflix. It's called The Call to Courage, and it was friggin' amazing. I was super excited when I found out about it. I love all of Brené Brown's work. Her books are incredible. The Power of Vulnerability, like, completely changed my life, and I love all of her work and how she works with people to become more brave and courageous and be okay being vulnerable and our true authentic selves. And that's what I'm all about and what I get like super lit up by. So I loved watching her new documentary or like Netflix special, whatever you want to call it today. And have everyone popping on live. Hi Keith, hi Jennifer. Hope you're having an awesome day. And it was just very powerful for me. I like teared up like 3 or 4 times during it. Like whenever she says daring greatly or whenever the daring greatly quote by Theodore Roosevelt is like said, I get like goosebumps and get all like teary eyed, and I'm like, yes, I am like here to do big things and get in the arena and dare greatly and not give a fuck about what the people in the cheap seats are doing to just do what I'm here and like called on this earth to do and to not care about what anyone else may or may not think about what I'm doing or how I'm saying it or what my process looks like or whatever, to just show up in the arena and show up for my people who are also in the arena with me, my incredible friends with like soul sisters and amazing people in my life who are doing this work too, to show up with them and like only care about the people that I love and that love me and not worry about the rest of the world and some potential haters or not haters and like those realities of those things. So like I want to talk all about her like I think it was like an hour and 15-minute special on Netflix. It was incredible. I like had like notes and I feel like I'm gonna watch it at least 2 more times. It was really incredible on so many levels. And one thing that I really loved in particular is when she was talking about how we're all afraid to say the wrong things and that she's going into these bigger organizations and people are afraid to say the wrong things when starting these conversations or getting in these bigger discussions, especially around the bigger movements that are happening around Time's Up and Me Too and Black Lives Matter and Trans Lives Matter and all the different things that are happening right now. And it's like, yes, like, thank you for putting words to it. Like, we're afraid that we're gonna like fuck it up when we say it, that we're gonna like offend someone because we don't understand or we're not in their shoes and we don't have that experience right now. And unfortunately, it's not societally taught how to put verbiage around certain things, and there's not the new way yet. We're co-creating the paths together to make the world a better place all together. So she's talking about how it's important for us to start it, start the conversations, and to be like, we're gonna fuck up, like just to be okay with the fact that we're not going to be perfect in this, that we're not going to be perfect in picking the right lingo and saying it at the exact right time, and like that we're not going to be perfect in making a better world for everyone, and that these movements are huge and they can make the world a better place, and every single one of us can be the change that we want to see in the world. We just, each and every one of us has to show up and be brave and vulnerable and do what we're called to do. So I loved that like came up because I was like, yes, I'm so fucking afraid. Like I'm afraid that I'm gonna say something wrong or like trigger someone or that they're not gonna understand what's really on my heart if I like express it one way, or like that they'll see a post that someone else shared and like not know me for who I am and what I am, like love and light and all the things. They'll just be like one viewpoint on one post and like get triggered and like haters and bad things, and I have like a bunch of fears around like being attacked and having haters, which I again understand has continuously kept me small and in like littler boxes. But I've been like done and continue to do a lot of work on that. And it's very interesting because I think January last year I had my first like bigger thing with a hater and like someone who like was super interested in my work and then became a hater and like said very mean things and very triggered. And then I got to the point where I'm like, yes, I'm like, please tell all of your friends whatever viewpoint you have around this, because anyone in your energy I don't want in my world. Like, I'm very happy with that. And then it was interesting to like shift those mindsets and perspectives to being like, I'm kind of excited to get haters because I'm tired of playing so small and so safe as to not clearly express my viewpoints in this world. And anyone who's ever been a leader, anyone who's led movements or political parties or anything, like they have a stance on things. Like everyone has their mission and their calling and their truths in their life experiences, and that super resonates with some people and turns other people off. So it's been very interesting to like get to that point to be like excited when people are disagreeing with what I'm doing or what I say, to be like, yes, like I'm pulling in my soul people, like my soul clients and my soul tribe and my soul friends so strongly that it's like also repulsing the people who aren't ready yet or who aren't to that level of understanding or consciousness or awakening or whatever. And it's very, very interesting. So yeah, I'm like super excited about all the things where I'm like reinvigorated to like share and like do incredible things, because like I've definitely been taking a lot of time to like integrate. So for most of you who know me, I went to Tony Robbins' life, or not life and wealth, that was last year. UPW, Unleash the Power Within. There are so many different acronyms, but it was my 5th event, and I again have so many breakthroughs and up levels and awareness, and like the Dickens process is always incredible. And I feel like it's very important to integrate after those things happen. And in the past, I've integrated by getting sick after events. So that was my like 5th event, and I didn't get sick after. I was like, I need to take care of myself. And my body understands that now on like a better level. And I like rested. So when I was in like Southern California, like I like went outside and put my feet on the ground, and it was like, I can't remember the Fahrenheit, but it was like 15 degrees to like 20, 25, upwards of that sometimes. And I was like towards the end. It was so nice. It was so warm, and I like smelled flowers every day. And then I went to like a ton of like healing ceremonies. I went to like 6 when I was there for like the last 2 weeks. I like did a lot of work, and then I had a lot of like processing of like my next level and what I'm ready to like shift and transform and change into. And like I'm coming up on my 2-year anniversary in my business. In May, it'll be officially 2 years. So like full time doing the work that I'm doing. And it's so interesting to like reflect and then get new downloads and to grow in new ways and to just expand and enjoy this journey. So there's so many things that were like resonating while I was watching the Call to Courage that were just like, yes, like, yes, 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 yes. This is like 1,000,000% resonating and speaking to me right now. And it's so fucking needed. Like, we're in a society of shame, and it's not healthy, and it's really fucking shit up. And I'm super feeling called to be a part of the movement for being more vulnerable and authentic and real and raw, and sharing my experience, my journey, my story, and the ways that I've been able to expand and open up and grow on my journey. And I'm definitely going to continue doing that. And I just like got super inspired by this and felt really called to sharing it with you guys. And there's like 1,000,002 things. So I did make a little notes where I'm like, what are the main things that I wanted to talk about the special? So yeah, she was talking about how we're all very afraid to say the wrong things, to be misunderstood, to not have the people understand what's really on their heart, and just have like assumptions made about them. And then, yeah, when she was playing small and she acknowledged that in her life, when she would like send articles to smaller newspapers instead of like the big leagues, and she was playing on smaller stages instead of like TED Talks. And her TED Talk, if you haven't seen Brené Brown's TED Talk, go type in Brené Brown TED Talk into YouTube. It's really awesome and amazing. And I was like, holy shit, like I did that a lot last year when I was really resisting the speaker aspect that I was being called into. And there were opportunities where I'm like, I could totally apply for that. And I'm like, no. And then all the fears and gremlins and voices in my head would say like, bad things, and I'd listen to them, and that wasn't healthy and that wasn't good. So I was like extremely impressed with myself, and like right before UPW, I guess like the hour before I went to the event, I like wrote up my application for like a TEDx talk in St. John. And I was so thrilled and super excited and like pumped up about it because I fucking applied. I was just like, and I went and like talked to friends, and I fucking applied to be a TEDx talker because I'm like, that's in my lifetime goal for sure. I'm like, don't care if I have it or not this time. I'm like, I'm fucking stepping up and shining my light and doing incredible things and pushing myself outside my comfort zone. And it felt fucking amazing. It was like literally like, I'm like, before UPW even started, I was like unlocking and unleashing to my next level of awesomeness. So it was very, very interesting that like she was saying that about her TED Talk, that she was like finally stepping out into like her next level self, and that she shifted from like a couple days before what she was planning on talking about to talking about and being super vulnerable. And then she had that vulnerability hangover, and I've definitely had the vulnerability hangovers in the past, and sometimes my ego gets really scared of getting them again in the future. So yeah, it's been like a very interesting wavy flowy up and down journey of like feeling unbelievably grateful and blessed to be where I'm at and to share so much of where I'm at on my journey, and to have so many incredible friends and loved ones and clients and followers and just like soul fam who's so just in alignment with that, and me being more and more vulnerable about all of my stories, my experiences, and my viewpoints on things, and having people like completely rally around me and like be like, yeah, me too, and agree with those and be lit up by those and be inspired by those. Like, I'm super grateful for that. And then it's very interesting to like go on the other extreme where it's like, I just want to numb out and watch TV, like she was saying. I'm like, yep, I numb out and watch TV when it's like, oh, you're being called to do bigger things, or when you share something, and then you're like, oh my God, I felt really called to share that. I'm gonna like hit post and then run and hide and watch TV until I like calm down about it and want to rejoin my life. And I have some comments on Facebook, so I'm totally gonna check in with those. And hi, Net. And I don't know how to say your name right. I want to make sure that I'm pronouncing it right. So is it Igene? Jean? Do you want to say sounds like this in the comments if I'm saying your name wrong? Check out the Netflix documentary Brené Brown. Yes, it's so amazing. Choose courage over comfort. Yes, she's amazing. I agree. And like all of her books, I literally got them all on Audible. They were amazing. And I'm also kind of feeling called to re-listen to Power of Vulnerability, because it's been a couple years since I've listened to that. And I'm like, I feel like there's new perspectives and shifts that I'll get just by like listening to that in the background while I do like other stuff. So I'm definitely like, I recommend Brené Brown's work to the majority of people who ask me for book recommendations. It's so good. Okay. Yeah, and then like one of the kind of like metaphors that came to mind when she was talking about like being afraid to like say things wrong or be misunderstood was one that I keep getting, and it's like a very clear picture that I get over and over again when I'm like afraid of this next level that I'm going to be doing, where it could be misunderstood by people, where my intentions are coming from things sometimes, like especially more in the sexual world, because unfortunately society still has a ton of shame around it. So it's like very interesting for me where like I did a boudoir photo shoot a month ago, and like I have the pictures and I have like these empowering quotes and messages and things that keep coming through for them, but then I'm like, I don't want someone to use them for bad and not for good. So like I keep getting a picture of like a hammer, like the person who decided to like make a hammer. I'm sure that they weren't in their head about being like, this hammer could be used for good, to like build houses better and to construct things and to make people's lives easier. Like the hammer has a ton of like really positive, beneficial, safe, really good uses. But someone could also like take a hammer and like kill someone with it or like hurt someone with it. So it's like, are you not going to create a hammer and not going to like make things that can help people for fear that select few or like outsiders or exceptions could like use it for bad things? So I feel like that's very interesting because like with boudoir pictures, my intention of it is like empowering women and being like, I used to think that I was like ugly and disgusting and I didn't have like many boyfriends growing up. Like I had a couple and I like didn't have sex until I was 18. So like I thought that I was gross. I thought that I was ugly and that since I was bullied since I was 10, that like I was super unwanted and super alone and just had all these like bad body issues and was like, huh, no one wants me. I have like frizzy curly hair and glasses and wore clothes that no one else my age was wearing because I was shopping with my mom at Reitman's. Like it was very interesting because I had like such a bad perspective of my own body, and most women do. Like Brené even talked about that in the documentary, that majority of women have body issue wounds that they have to heal. And it's like getting into the next level of that, to be like, I love myself. I love my body. I love every part of my body. I love my parts of my body naked. I like having sex with the fucking lights on because I'm not ashamed of my body. And I feel super empowered in my body, with hair or without hair, when I'm on my period or when I'm not on my period. And that's the intention of the work that I'm being called to do in some areas of my life right now. It's not going to be like the full encompassing of everything that I do and like all of my programs and all my offerings. Like right now I'm working on my manifestation program that's coming out soon, which I'm super excited about. Because I kept manifesting like 1,000,002 things, and especially like free things that I like really desired were just like coming on the trip, and it's like, okay, you need to do this. And then I had like an Akashic record reading, and it was like, you need to like share with people what the fuck you're doing. This is amazing. I'm like, okay. So it's also very interesting because then my ego's like, well, you're working on this, but then you're also working on this, and it's like, are you going to choose? And it's like, is your work with women and women empowerment going to fuck up your opportunities in the future of like speaking or like doing manifestation work and doing other self-love stuff? And like it's just so interesting, like all the stories that are being told by all my gremlins, and that I have work to do because everyone has work to do. We're all human beings. Like no one is an ascended master on this plane. We all have human bodies. We're all going through our own work at whatever level we're at. So it's super interesting to like just experience it. And I love when like my mentors and like people I look up to and like other coaches and healers and light workers and stuff share their experiences and what like lights them up and what they're kind of working and growing on and stuff. Because then it's like, oh my God, me too. Like I have similar experiences and moments on my life and in my journey where I'm like, yeah, like I'm being pulled in different directions and I have real life fears around the work that I'm doing and being a human being while doing this work. So it's very interesting to like see it all come up and then the synchronicities that line up to be like, yep, you need to share this because it's going to help someone. So my intention with this video is literally just to share how much I love Brené Brown's work in general. And then the call to courage was amazing. Like get Netflix to watch it. It's worth it just to get Netflix. So it's very, very exciting that that came through today and that so many things have been coming through around that. And then the more I get ideas about things, the more I see kind of like confirmations in my life about how much it's needed and just like all the things, because like there's no black and white in this world. We like in our heads to make all these different labels and boxes and like separate things and be like, this is good and this is bad. But it's like we all have our own journeys, and what is my journey and what is someone else's journey and what is the next person's journey can all be so different and be perfect and amazing for their exact life journey. So like there's no one healing modality that's the best for anything. There's no one book that's the best for everyone. Like I really love Brené Brown's work. You might not resonate at all with the sound of her voice and not want to do that work. with her. I need someone else who's doing that work in a different way or saying it in a different tone or energy behind it to really get it and to like have that integrated in you. And like she teaches people this stuff too. So like you can find your own leader who is doing work on authenticity and vulnerability and bravery that like fits you and your energy that like will match to you, which is really beautiful. But it's like in the past, my mind was always kind of thinking life is black and white. Like there's good people and there's bad people. You pass, you fail. And I feel like a lot of people, especially people who follow me, kind of have that like right, wrong, good, bad, black, white kind of like mindset. And that really held me back for a while because it's like our truth can change. Our life experience and what we learn, and as we grow, we can change and adapt our life experiences. And that really big one came to me when I was like, I used to eat shitty. I used to like eat junk food and be a super picky eater and have coffee all the time. And that's what worked for me when I was getting through university debt free and got my dream job at the time. That's what worked for me. And then when I had a little bit more time and space and energy in my life, when I wasn't studying all the time and working all the time, and I was like, okay, I can switch coffee for like boosts and like carnations in my milk. And then I get some nutrients in there. And then when I knew better from that, I started doing juices at the market and booster juice. And then when I had more time and energy, I started making my own juices and like green smoothies with my own stuff at home, and like started buying more quality ingredients and started like getting into wheatgrass shots and all those things. And it's like at any point on my journey, my truth was what I was currently doing. So like when I had switched from coffee to Boost, Boost was definitely better than my coffee. And I told other people to try Boost, and I let people try my Boost. Like I wanted to support other people in doing that. And I encouraged my coworkers at the time to like drink more water and do those things. And it's so interesting to be like, yeah. And then when I got into green smoothies at home and wheatgrass shots, then I'm like, do this and encourage people to do that to make their next like step on their journey. So it's interesting because like, I don't know, 8 year ago version Laura would be like promoting Boost and like adding nutrition into milk. And current me is like, yeah, like green smoothies and juices and wheatgrass shots are like awesome. So it's just very interesting to be like, yes, at different points in my journey, different things will happen. And like this version of myself not sharing what knowledge I know now is a disservice to my people, because the knowledge that I know now has helped me so much. Because like I used to be crazy workaholic and I was burning out in the corporate world, and that wasn't okay. And I wasn't doing any self-care, and I was being my family's savior, and that was really unhealthy. And then I moved into the entrepreneurial world, and that gave me so much more time and freedom. But I also became kind of a workaholic in the entrepreneur world. Like I basically didn't sleep at all when I first did my business plan almost 2 years ago. I guess 2 years ago, because it was April last 2 years ago when I was like literally nonstop working on a business plan. But I did a business plan in like 10 days because I had a business degree and I knew how to do it. And I knew that if I buckled down, I could get it done really fucking fast. And I did it in like 10 days. But yeah, like my first year of business, I really fucking hustled. Like I worked so fucking hard, and it was like crazy to me to take time off, which is really funny because now I take a ton of time off. But at that point in my business, that's all I knew. It's like you hustle, and there's all these quotes that are like, work hard now and like work hard for a couple years to like live like no one else in the future. I'm like, I'm totally butchering that quote. I'm like, I don't even resonate with the quote, so I can't remember it. It's something like work extremely hard for a couple years, work like they won't for a couple years, and live like they won't for the rest of your life, or like some kind of quote like that. And I like really resonated with that at the time when I was like really just working so fucking hard on my business and like not taking weekends off and always thinking about my business and what I was going to like offer next and my clients, and taking messages at all days and hours of the week or weekend. And yeah, like I literally had a coach at the time where she was like, you're going to burn out if you do this. Like, do you see how you're mirroring this pattern that you were a workaholic in the corporate world, now you're acting like a workaholic here. Like, it doesn't make sense to you how you could take a weekend off. She's like, take one day this weekend off. And she's like, catch up on sleep and like, just take care of yourself, do fun things. And I'm like, I'm like, but like, this is what I'm doing now. Like, it's unsteady money and like scarcity fears, blah blah blah. And I was just like, but I need to like work to get money, and I need to like work really fucking hard to like pay my bills and make money and like do things, because I was like slowly eating away at my savings, and I was like, I'm not gonna do this. This isn't safe. Nope. So I worked super fucking hard. And that wasn't the best way for me to be doing it, especially when I started working more and more in depth with my divine feminine energy and being open to going with the flow and trusting my intuition and resting and receiving more and surrendering and trusting and having bigger faith in the universe and all those things. So it was so like liberating to go deeper into that work, to like let myself off the hook and not be a workaholic in my business, and to like make new levels of boundaries and standards and expectations for myself and my clients, my business, and how I work and how I operate. And it was super freeing to like trust that. So that was like, I think March last year, where I had like deep healing work, and I did a ton of forgiveness work and had like channeled reading done. And it was essentially like, just trust that like God put you on this path. You, your higher power, God, creator, source energy, the universe, whatever you want to call it, literally kept showing up and giving you all these synchronicities that you could do this work and you could do it now, not like 5 to 10 years like you originally kind of thought. It's now. And if they got you to this point, and if you guys co-created this now, then it's not going to just stop. And you don't have to be like working so hard and burning yourself out, doing tons of expos and tons of in-person workshops and events and all these different things. And it was just like, give yourself permission to let all that go, and like let go of all the like old system and paradigm of like work super hard. This is how you do your marketing. This is how you do everything. Like, just release it all and let it go. And just trust your intuition, like that inner guidance, the inner knowings or higher power, whatever you want to like talk about or call it, whatever verbiage you guys want to put around like your insights or your guidance or the signs that you're getting, to literally just be like, I set my intention for peace and love. What should I do next? Like, what do I do next? What do I do next? What do I do next? And getting like quiet and tuning in with that and trusting that and moving on. And that was so freaking scary at the beginning, especially since like I got sick at the beginning of March last year when I started getting a sore throat or something. I like was getting a bit of a cold, and it was literally just like, take care of yourself, take care of yourself, take care of yourself. Offer this online thing, offer that online thing, and I was just like, what? I've been doing in-person workshops and all these things and going back and forth between my 2 offices that were like an hour and a half apart from each other. Like, I had 2 offices in the province that I'm in. And it was just a lot of work and a lot of effort. And I was so burning myself out by promoting all those things and getting in touch with all these people. And just, I was doing so much. And then to go from all that to being like, basically the first 10 days was just like, take care of myself and offer 2 online things. And I was just like, I said I was going to do this for a month. I'm going to trust for a month. If I make absolutely no money in a month, I will like be like, okay, well, I tried it and it didn't work, but let's keep going. And it was interesting because my ego had a huge freak out in the middle of the month, because I'm still kind of like an accountant at heart and like know how important cash flow is. And I had seen like the middle of the month, which I would usually check in and be like, okay, where am I at with my goals? Where am I going to be with like, my business has expenses, especially last year where I had 2 physical office location expenses, where it's like, this is going to be an expense regardless of if I have people coming into it. And it literally was just like, keep trusting, these 2 online things will be a thing. And it's like, they weren't selling. And it was towards the end of the month, and I was like really freaking out. I'm like, usually by this point in the month, halfway, I have this amount of money and I know that I'm good, and all these things and fears in my head. And it was very interesting because I continued to do that work, bring myself back to peace and be like, okay, so I'm going to clear these new thoughts and stuff that's coming up around that. and breathe and come back to peace and do things that are peaceful and joyful and in love and in flow and in alignment. And I continue doing those things and trusting. And by the end of the month, the 2 online things that I had literally made more money than I had by the previous month. And that was like mind blowing to me at the time, because I did 2 things that took way less effort and time and energy, and they were both online, so they didn't require my physical offices, and it made more money than the previous month, where I was doing so much work and running around to different places for my workshops, and had workshops in both Moncton and St. John, and was seeing clients in Moncton and St. John, and like all the different things that I was doing. Just those 2 online things just was better than the previous month, and I put way less effort in, and there wasn't as much resistance, and like I wasn't coming up against walls for things, and it was just like, oh, this is what like being in alignment and being in flow and trusting that I'm a part of this oneness energy and that it's going to work for me because everything's working for my highest and most good when I get out of my own fucking way and I don't believe the old stories and I do the work to heal those and I could just be in alignment with that. So it's very interesting that like before that I was definitely in like the like workaholic mode of entrepreneurship and like hustling really hard. And then I started kind of doing baby steps into going with the flow and taking care of my self-care first and doing lots of rest. And then I hired like a coach who's all about embodiment and law of attraction and like Abraham Hicks work and stuff. And it was again about like feeling into my joy, showing up as a joyful goddess, like following my feelings and going with my intuition and those things. So it's very, very interesting to see how much better things felt when I would listen to those hits and voices and how much more aligned and like my life started being a lot more like ease, grace, flow, love, support, guidance, alignment when I started doing those things and moved in inspired action with it instead of just being like, oh, I'm inspired to do that video or offer this program or reach out to this person because they keep coming into my head and then not doing it. When I actually followed it, things would work amazingly. And I made new rules for myself where like when I go on my Tony Robbins trips and I go on vacation, like I don't do other work, which is so nice. And not a lot of people do that. A lot of people are like, yeah, I'm on vacation, but I'm still like fully available to everyone at all times of the day and do a ton of work and stuff like that. I've put a lot of boundaries around those, which feels so good. And majority of the weekends this year, I'm trying to think if there's any that I think all, if not most, if not all of them, I'm pretty sure. I think all weekends this year, I like haven't done work. Like I haven't worked on projects or like sat down and tackled emails or messages or anything like that. I think a couple times when I was like inspired action, I reached out to some people and like I'll make some inspired action posts or like inspired action videos, but I don't think that I like was like, oh, I have a to-do list and I need to like do my to-do list at all on any weekends this year in 2019. I'm pretty sure. And that is like whew, to me, especially because I still remember my life when I would nonstop 24/7 think about my to-do list and think about everything that I have to do and effort and like that masculine energy of like I need to produce in order to be good enough or valuable or successful or loved. I need to like do and I put an effort and create like do all these things whether or not I felt like doing it, like push through and just like fucking get shit done, which I can totally do and I can go very in my masculine and like get fucking shit done. And I did that in the past and it was awesome for like achievement in the corporate world and in my academic world. And then in my business, when I was doing that, it was feeling really burnt out. And the things that I was loving doing started being like chores. So it's like, fuck, it's like I want to do this thing, but I'm so tired and I just like all the things. And I didn't have the energy to do it. So it was like the stuff that I was loving deep down was becoming not fun because there was resistance to it, because I was doing so many things and my energy wasn't aligned with the things that were going to give me the most bang for my buck, essentially. Like the whole 80-20 rule. Like I was focusing on everything instead of being like, what am I like divinely inspired to do right now, and doing those things. So yeah, this is like full rant. I wasn't planning on going really deep in this, but apparently someone needs it. So if anyone is like super resonating with this, give me a thumbs up or an emoji in the chat and like let me know that this is resonating with you, and I'll like keep going deeper on this, or we can go deeper on this in like another video too. And hi Jackie and Chris who joined, and Alyssa and Claire. I hope you guys are having an awesome night, almost morning. I'm a total night owl. What else is on my little list that I wanted to share? So yeah, essentially what my intention of sharing that, I guess, was that I was feeling called to share that I get to enjoy my weekends. Like I rest and rejuvenate and have massages and see friends and family and get new toys and have like family fun time and had an incredible Easter dinner. And like I didn't have a to-do list. I didn't have messages that I felt like I had to get back to. Like I have messages that I'll get back to on Monday, but I'm not going to do it when I'm not inspired to act on the weekend, because then that like takes from my energy of like literally serving from an overflowing cup instead of being depleted and being like, oh, I'm at like 10%. Like if your phone was at 10%, you'd plug it in, like you'd recharge it. So we need to do that for ourselves, especially as light workers, because you can serve so much more in that overflow state, especially when you're connected, because our like divine guidance, so God, creator, source energy, the universe, gods, angels, spirits, ancestors, loving, our team is like always doing stuff for us. And when we're really clear and focused and have our energy to match that, it's like magic. It's so amazing, and it feels so good and in flow when you can be in that. So yeah, like this weekend was amazing. Last weekend was really awesome too. I like kind of sort of, I guess you could call the women's show a work related thing, but I would go to that even if I didn't do this as a business, because it was so fun. There was a women's show in Fredericton, and I went up for that because there was also an ecstatic dance, the Fredericton grand opening last Saturday. So I was going up for that, and it was so much fun. Like dancing was so much fun. And I went to the expo that was there beforehand and literally walked in. I'd driven from St. John. So I walked in, put my name in a ballot thing, got the little pamphlet that said like what was all in the show. I needed to pee because it was like an hour drive, and literally came out of the bathroom and heard my name. And I'm like, I think I just won something, because I heard my name over the system and I won, it's right here. I won this beautiful journal from Sam the Naked Truth Warrior called Get Naked, and then it has journal prompts in it, and they're really cool. Gives you a ton of space, and then it has little positive quotes at the bottom. I don't know. Do I have her thing in here still? Yes, Sam the Naked Truth Warrior. And that was really synchronistic that I won her journal like 5 minutes after I got there. Because I had seen on Chanel's story, Instagram story, the like night before the expo, that her booth was like right across from her. And then I like checked out Sam's Instagram, and she was doing all the super awesome empowering things for women. And I'm like, oh my God, I love her energy. And she's like naked on her book cover and doing really awesome things. And I'm like, fuck yes. And it's like so many synchronicities and so many things line up. And it's like instant manifestation, because her work looked really cool. And then I'm like, I manifested her freaking journal for free when I went to the expo.